I was at a conference one day, very much like this one, and I remember one of the speakers saying that the root of the word education, to educe, means to draw out, like to draw out information from an individual. And I thought that this was really interesting. Of course, it sounds very nice philosophically, but being the skeptical person that I am, I decided to look it up, and I found that there isn't one but two roots to the word education, and they're both very different. The first, educere, does mean to draw out, but the second, educare, means to train or mold. So these two ideas, like I said, are very different, perhaps even the antithesis of each other. And they have the potential to play very different roles in how we go forth with our education policy here in the US. I think that our current education system reflects the training and molding method. And this is shown through our reliance on Common Core and standardized tests, all done with the goal of testing and training students in very specific knowledge bases. However, we also know that our schools here in the US are very flawed in a lot of ways. As a result of these very narrow curriculums, our teachers have lost the ability to cater to a student's needs as individuals. And we know that this helps contribute to a large number of at-risk youth, especially in areas like Philadelphia, where resources are very slim between public schools. In fact, we just had a whole social justice week here at Arcadia talking about the school-to-prison pipeline, and this is just one aspect of this issue. So what can we do about this? I think that we need to shift our focus from the training and molding to the drawing out method of education. And while it is very difficult for educators to do this due to current education policy, which is harder to change, I think that we can accomplish this through mentors and mentorship programs in public schools. Mentors are wonderful sources because of their relatability and their understanding in the classroom. So when you think of pop icons like Hamilton or Monty Python, they're so great because they're able to take these really complicated topics and channel them through relatable narratives that people can still understand. Similarly, mentors are wonderful resources for crossing the divide between student and teacher more readily, resulting in a much more interpersonal relationship. I say this for two reasons. First, mentors have a free space to help students as they need. We're not educators bound by curriculum or by standards. Even though we have certain topics which we're meant to cover, our only real goal in a classroom is to help that student however we can. We are neighbors, alumni, leaders in our community, and we have the experience to help these students, which is the second point. Because we are so close generationally to our students, because mentors come and go by the years, of course, we are able to help them with issues that arise in current society. So we can help because we've been there, to put it simply. Whether it's learning how to cope with your high school experience or getting ready for college or going through the job market, we have that relatable experience that is useful to our students. And of course this goes both ways because then as mentors we learn about our future coworkers, our future fellow citizens, which is also very helpful for building a society. So then, the first job of a mentor, I think, is to build self-confidence within the student, which in turn encourages confidence between the student and the academic system. So when I think of this, I think of examples you may have seen on social media of teachers using personal affirmation as part of their daily routine. They do these really elaborate high-five routines on the way into the classroom, get the students amped up, or they'll have the students stand and do vocal confidence building exercises. And I think that these practices are nothing short of amazing to make students whose experiences with the education system are usually less than positive, suddenly excited to learn and excited to be working towards their future. And I had the privilege of being a part of one such organization, the Breakthrough Collaborative of Greater Philadelphia. I was a student teacher there for a class of middle school students on Saturday mornings we had school. So as you can imagine, it's very difficult to teach a room of middle school students on a Saturday morning without inspiring a sense of positivity and motivation in them. So every morning we had about 50 students in a room, and we'd have them stand and they would say our mission statement, but we would say it in unison, inspiring community. And we would say it while moving around and dancing and doing all these great things that just really encouraged positivity in the room. So then what I learned from this experience is that our goal as teachers is to build this confidence within students so that they let us hear their opinions and ideas. And then as mentors, we take those opinions and ideas and we listen The goal is to actively listen to what they're saying, not just for the right answer. And then, so their ideas, they don't feel as if they're cast aside or misinterpreted. And then finally, as peers, we take this understanding and we validate them. And we validate their viewpoint in the world while also challenging them to enlarge that scope and to think of others and other experiences and other possibilities. And we do all this in the hopes that our students become successful citizens, which after all is the well-established goal of education, not just a number on a page. So as students who have been there and who are still there, who better than us than to help them find a way? Thank you.